Now, parts of this story are absolutely factual, and other parts of this story are what could have been, but probably didn't really happen. As you know, 1849 was the beginning of the biggest rush of people in the history of America, the California Gold Rush. People came from all over the country and even the world to lay claim to their fortune in gold. The gold rush was responsible for establishing many cities and towns and villages all over the gold country and beyond. Well, it wasn't long after this that a man from Wales named Griffith came to establish an income in a different way in the new gold country. Just north of Sacramento, where gold was actually found, Griffith found a piece of land that would be more than suitable for what he planned to do. This piece of land was rich in high-quality granite. With so many buildings being lost to fires, the need was great for fire-resistant building materials such as granite. So in 1864, Griffith established the Penryn Granite Works, where the stone was extracted, polished, and used as fire-resistant high-quality building material. His business became the first successful granite polishing mill in the entire state of California. In fact, the granite from this quarry became part of a number of the important buildings in San Francisco and Sacramento, including portions of the California state capitol, which can still be seen today. Now, there was one man who worked at the quarry named Joe Bilgrave, a quiet man who kept to himself mostly and was rarely seen after work hours by anyone. Turns out that Joe was a quarry worker by day and a bank robber by night. Joe and his brother Pete, who worked on the other side of town, met up one weekend in Old Sacramento to plan a way to break into the Wells Fargo Bank. After coming up with the perfect plan, they were surprisingly able to pull it off. They broke in that night without a sound and cracked a small safe under the counter. The safe contained a box inside with the label that read, "Silver Coin, 1,500 count." They grabbed the box and ran out as fast as they could. After making a clean getaway, they proceeded with the second part of the plan. See, the problem was, if they didn't return to their normal jobs, their co-workers would become suspicious as soon as they found out about the bank robbery. And they didn't want to have to flee the area because their entire family all lived in the Sacramento region. So they decided to hide the box, return to their jobs, and work as usual for a few months. Then, when the news of the robbery settled down, they would put in their notice to quit, retrieve the money, and live the high life. Joe suggested that he knew the perfect place to hide the box right there at the quarry. He would make a map in code that only he and his brother could read, and when the time was up, Joe could retrieve the box of coins and split the treasure. As soon as Joe went back to work, he hid the money and sketched up a map with a secret code for his brother, which he planned to give to his brother the next time they met. A week later, however, Joe was loading granite on the train car when a cable carrying the polished granite gave way overhead and fell right on top of poor Joe. Joe didn't make it, and neither did the map make it to Pete. Pete never knew what happened to the map or the lost treasure box. Pete later went to the granite mill and searched with no luck at all. Years later, on Pete's deathbed, he told the whole story to his son, who wrote it down. Well, it turns out last week, Pete's great-great-grandson found a family diary in his grandmother's attic. In the diary, he read the whole story of the bank robbery and the lost treasure box. So he decided to visit the old Griffith Quarry ruins just out of curiosity. He found that the quarry is now a state park, and the original office for the mill is still standing and has been turned into a historic museum. He asked the curator at the museum if she'd ever run across any old maps or codes. She immediately went to a drawer filled with old papers and pulled out what seemed to be just what he was looking for. Well, he tried to decipher the map, but just couldn't figure it out. So now he's asking for anyone who can help him to come this Saturday to the old Griffith Quarry. He said that whoever can decipher the coded map and find the lost coins can keep them, as long as he can keep one for himself as a keepsake. Now this part of the story is true. Yes, there really are 1,500 real coins, not fake coins, not copper coins, at the Griffith Quarry. Yes, we really are going there tomorrow. And yes, there really is a coded map, and yes, you really do get to keep them if you find them. So be at the church at 9:30 a.m. tomorrow.